Hi class, this is course 2, lesson 11, combining and separating word problems. Okay, if you think about those two words, combining and separating, when you combine things, you're mixing them together or you're adding. And when you separate, you're splitting it apart, so you would subtract. So that's what we're talking about here, is different types of combining and separating word problems. The book will reference plot type a lot, and that's just the story that your word problem comes in. Combining plots are where you have sum plus more equals total, and the equation that you can write is sum plus more equals total, S plus M equals T. A separating plot type, you start with an amount, then sum goes away, so you subtract the amount that goes away, and what you have left is the difference. So you have S minus A equals L. So make sure that this is in your notes. Plot type, combining, separating, and what the equation looks like. You will be asked to write some equations, so make sure that you can do that or know how it models. Okay. Here's a couple examples, and you do not need to write this down. It's a lot to write down. If you would like to write it down, go ahead and do so. But we're going to identify the plot, write an equation, and then solve. So the problem is right here. Marge spent $2.50 for a notebook, 75 cents for a marker, and $24.99 for a backpack. What was the total amount she spent? If you would like to try to figure this out on your own, press pause now and then press play when you're ready to see the answers. So the plot, because we have a bunch of items and we want the total amount spent, the plot is a combining plot. We need to add them all together. So the equation will be $2.50 plus 75 cents, and notice I changed 75 cents to the dollars. Put the decimal in there so that when I line them all up, I can add appropriately. And $24.99. So you would end up with 250.75, 24.99, and remember you can always put a 0 there, and then you would add, and your total is $28.24 is the total. Okay. I'm going to do another example. Again, do not write this down. Identify the plot, write an equation, and solve. So let's see, there were 126 horses on a farm. After some were sold, there were 108 horses left. How many were sold? Okay, again, pause here if you would like to do this on your own, and then press play when you're ready to see the answers. The plot, we have some items, some go away, and then we have some left, so that's a separating plot. Now the equation, I'm going to bet that you think of a different equation than I do. The equation that I have is 126 minus h equals 108. Remember, h is a variable, so if you have a different letter there, that's okay. But the plot says you have some go away, and then what's left. So I have some, the beginning amount is 126 horses, then I sell some, but I don't know how many are sold, and that's why the variable is here. Does it work the same if you switch the variable and the 108? It does, but that's not what we're trying to model here. And the solution, remember that if you're missing a subtrahend, you subtract the other two numbers. So you'd have 126 minus 108. And you'd end up with 18. One more example I'd like to run through. Again, identify the plot, write an equation, and solve. Sarah baked 4 dozen muffins. She had a platter with some of the muffins and gave them away to the school bake sale. She had 32 muffins left, which she packaged in freezer bags to store in the freezer. How many muffins did Sarah give away to the bake sale? Okay, this is a really good example because there's a lot of information in here that you don't need to know. Okay? Does it matter that she made a platter and gave them away to the bake sale? Yes, because that's where they went. But do you need that information for the problem? No. So this becomes irrelevant. Okay. If you wrote that down, which you didn't need to, but you don't have to cross that out. This is the important information. She baked 4 dozen muffins. She had 32 muffins left. And you need to know how many did she give away. Okay, so this is a separating plot. We have some, we gave some away, we have some left. But notice that the units are different. This says dozen, 4 dozen muffins, and this is individual muffins. So the units are going to need to match before we do anything with it. So hopefully you know that a dozen is 12. So 12 times 4 is 48. So that's our starting amount. 32 muffins left, that's the end amount. And the amount we give away is in the middle. So our equation should be 42 minus m, and I used m for muffins, equals 32. And again, we're missing a subtrahend, so we would subtract. So 48 minus 32, oops, sorry about that. 48 minus 32 is 16. So we have 16 muffins. Okay, that's a quick run through for you. You may be asked, well, I know you'll be asked, to take an equation that looks like this and write a story problem for it. Okay? All you're doing is working backwards. You're writing the story problem. When you get to a problem like that, if you have a question or are unsure what to do, please ask. I'll be glad to help. That's it for lesson 11. I will see you in class.